Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we are going to be reviewing One Piece Manga Chapter 1171 Ragnar. I am Akainu Fanboy. The other guy is Geboss. Please like and subscribe if you have not. Leave your comments below and thoughts on our video and thoughts on this chapter. So we have a really good cover story that's better than the Yamato cover story. Zoro with a cat. Any thoughts?
Not really. No.
Gotcha. All right, then we continue. So now we see Scopper and Shanks a little beat up, which is very interesting. Yeah, because we saw previously Loki fighting Herald, and we didn't really see like what happened to these two immediately after the fact. So we don't know if they kind of briefly got blown away by Herald or whatnot. But I think that's kind of a fair assumption to see how beat up they were.
Yeah, considering how powerful Herald was, because they said that the God's Knights were susceptible to the Conqueror's Haki coding, which they both had, but since Herald had his own Conqueror's Haki, they couldn't get through him. So whatever, we still don't get a clear answer of what Ragnar's power exactly was, but it's able to break through that. So
yeah. So yeah, when they kind of talk about this treasure, and then we get this brief flashback right here too with Shanks and his father. Speak your desire, whatever it is, you shall have it. You've been so deprived, my poor son.
Bum.
You know, yeah. It's weird to see him nice, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's just using Shanks as for being a member of the God's Knights, but
yeah,
I think the theory that Shanks did let his arm get eaten to get rid of the crest, that theory is kind of gaining more grounds because he's like gripping his left arm, and it seems like Scopper is concerned about it, like Shanks' well-being, being a celestial dragon, because it kind of reminded me of Ace, because when Scopper says don't you dare regret your birth, I thought about that with Ace and Roger.
Yeah, that's a good point. And yeah, maybe the Shanks Copers, the stands are just like, see is only L in the series. Well, I guess there is the additional L of the scratch mark on his eyes and everything like that. So so we have Scopper consoling him, and then we get Loki going through a pretty heartbreaking scene with his father and everything like that. So and it kind of puts you in kind of this more nihilistic mindset, just nothing matters because he did this all for his country, look what happened to them, so yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, Corral was killed by the world government, and then the lady who he wished was his mom was like killed by his other bloodline, so yeah, he's had like these kind of scheming outside sources just take away everything from him. So yeah, it's sad, for sure.
Yeah, and it makes sense why later on he says that he's going out to take revenge, because we've seen him do that with Ida. So
yeah, for sure. And then when we kind of basically get to the people he wants to get revenge on, we see Emu saying that was nothing short of a monster, and they'll say it was killed by whom? What is an Elbaf? So yeah, so do you think the hype is justified here?
I mean, it does seem like it, because Emu's saying like, oh, this was an ancient giant warrior, and he was immortal, and he still was killed. So it seems like they don't even know what Herald's power could possibly be, because the Garose even say we could check on it because they have the access to Herald's symbol, but they said no, it'll only be the death of more knights. So whatever Loki's power is can directly kill people, compared to like when Scopper was fighting Summers. Summer's got back up, so
yeah. Maybe eventually you can kind of finish him off, though. It just takes time. Yeah, maybe he didn't get a clean enough hit in, but it is kind of, because obviously it's not just going to be unique to Loki. We're going to take these people out and everything, but yeah, it is interesting that Emu didn't have this reaction after Rox got taken out, though.
Well, it seems like Domi Reversi is different than the Covenants, because it seems like if someone with the Covenants is taken out, like Emu says, like performing the Covenant inflicts a cost upon Mu as well. So if that's the case, then if you take out the God's Knights, that could lead to like harming Emu in a substantial way. And if that's the case, I'm wondering if he had like any backlash when he killed Saturn, or if he was like absorbing his powers back. So so like absorbing compared to like someone else killing. So I think that it's interesting, like we're getting a little bit of look into like what could potentially harm Emu in the future.
That's a good point. Yeah. No, I like that a lot. And yeah, it's kind of so. Will it weaken Emu in such a way when they take down all the God's Knights, where he's just like not as much of a threat anymore, and where he can be taken out, or is it just going to bring him down to such a level where basically it gives them a fighting chance, and he's still going to be like kind of this max end of the series villain,
I think that's more likely, but it also makes me think that it could potentially be put in a conundrum where there's some sort of connection with Gunko and Rook, so that could be a moral issue if they have to kill the God's Knights in order to kill Emu. But yeah, it seems like we're gonna get some answers coming up soon.
Right. Yeah, and then there's kind of just the issue of the Straw Hats killing and everything. Yeah. I mean, if the Revolutionaries were actually creative and well written, they could be like the more ruthless ones, take care of them, but we have no indication that they're like that at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, so anyways, it was just kind of so they were all, he debased himself to humankind. This made him a heretic, and what I find interesting, he doesn't want to bring in all the giants right now, because it would just cause a lot of disorder, basically.
Yeah. Because probably because they still have that warrior spirit among them, and he might be going after them now because they become a little bit more docile, and that way it's easier to manipulate them,
because they've already gotten a good amount of giants in the Vice Admiral system.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very fascinating, and then we kind of see Loki's plan kind of being brought out right here.
Well, I just want, before we move on to that, we get never forget that Elbaf is D.
Yeah.
So does that mean like the giants themselves are part of the D clan, or what do you think about that? Because it's interesting, because in the official translation it says that Elbaf is D, compared to the unofficial one, which is they are of the D. I wonder if there's a distinction in that,
Yeah. I guess kind of think back to the giant Straw Hats and everything, where it can be more indicative of like the original Joy Boy was a giant and everything like that, so, and this would be the clan. But I mean, Luffy could get to giant size to kind of fill that role, obviously, but he's obviously not by default a giant, and there's a lot of other Ds who are not giants.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So,
I'm just.
I don't know.
It's tying it more deeply into the mystery of the D.
For sure. So yeah, kind of moving. Yeah, when we kind of get to this idea of the avenging and things like that too. Yeah, so I guess this kind of helps explain everything a little bit, like why Scopper never said anything during all these years too. You know. So it kind of ties that up a little bit. And Loki wanted to convince them, you know, like I did this and everything like that. And then we kind of get like this sudden transition back. Yeah. And we get to the Haruden, and Haruden gets this confirmed by Scopper. And yeah, so I think it was a good flashback overall.
Yeah, we're finally back to the current timeline.
I wouldn't say it was like the best, but I think there was a lot of good content in there.
With this in hindsight, do you think that this is a good spot for the Rock's flashback to be? Or would you have preferred it to be its own separate flashback?
I think it kind of makes sense with the Herald connection. I think it kind of makes sense. I preferred the Herald aspect and the Loki aspect more than I did to the aspect, though, which might be heretical to say, but
yeah.
I didn't find the Rocks aspect that compelling, to be honest. But that's just my humble take.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it to an extent, but I enjoyed the Herald stuff better.
But yeah.
It seems like we never got a clear answer about why Loki was imprisoned, besides people believing that he was responsible for his father's death. And it looks like he just kind of gave himself up.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I did like that he's kind of protecting his father's image. Because he says that he wants to take the blame, and that the future that he doesn't carry the same ideals, but he wants to protect the image that Herald had.
Right.
So
right.
I do like that. Because it wasn't his fault. Like, this one action where he was taken over shouldn't define all the good, shouldn't overshadow all the good that he did.
Sure, right. And it's just kind of funny to see Luffy's initial reaction. Yeah, way to go! You know, he's not sad or anything. Like, that seems rough. He's just like, good job, man. You know. Yeah. And then we get a little tease of what Loki's power level is going to be against one of these Draugrs, but I think it's kind of fair to say that he's going to one-shot it with his special abilities and all the rest too. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of like my instinct there, but Haruden still kind of feels a little like, yeah, he like forgives him, but there's still like a little bit of pain left over and everything like that. So,
yeah,
yeah,
I do like they're like we used to think you were a real bastard who killed his own father. Sorry about that, but only for that one thing. Everything else you're still guilty of.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so
I was just gonna say really quick, it seems like Oda kind of changed his mind on some stuff. Because I thought that Haruden's crew was going up without them, and they were taking Zoro and Sanji, but they're all still here. And even like at the end, it's like Scopper wants to go back up, and I think even Sanji's like, weren't you gonna stay here? So it seems like Oda changed his mind about how people are going to be incorporated into this.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a good point. When we kind of, I guess we're gonna have this foundation now when it comes to like starting the next fight right here, and once that's kind of accomplished, like, so I assume Haruta is going to be a big part of the next fight too. I think he, especially through his flashback, I think there's a lot more development, and I think just by virtue of him being a son of Herald too is going to lead to him really showing more powers and abilities, even though he did struggle more in Dressrosa. So I think he's going to have a good showing in one way or another. That's kind of one of my mini predictions there. I'm curious to see how much more of this fight goes, if Shanks is going to show up or if Kid's going to show up, There's a lot. Or Big Mom's going to show up.
Yeah, I think the Big Mom stocks are going down.
So, because if she doesn't show up here, then she's dead.
Yeah.
And that's kind of more the position I'll take at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Even though we get some indications, right? Like, what was it? Wasn't there like a group of Marines or Cypherpole or something like that lost contact?
I don't know.
Like right after Wano.
I would have to reread that. It's been so long.
Yeah, there's that, and then we saw Katakuri and Whole Cake. So we don't. I don't know. It would just be really crowded though for him. I mean, but that hasn't stopped him before, just shoving her into an arc. But it would be really crowded just to bring her back into this arc, though.
Yeah,
which is that'd be unfortunate because I think the arc's been really succinct and it flows very well,
Yeah, that would have been an interesting part of the flashback if it showed, because Loki was betrothed to, it was Lola, right? Or was it Chiffon? Well, it was one of the two twins. You remember
it was
that?
Lola. It was Lola. Lola.
Yeah. But that would have been interesting to see. Like, even like if it was a couple panels.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because that was a huge storyline that really affected a lot of things, from Thriller Bark to Whole Cake. So that would have been a great little addition to add in there.
Don't worry, it'll be answered in an SBS.
Or put in the anime.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, we never saw anything in regards to the alliance, the giants and everything.
Yeah, because it would have to be at a point where Loki was free. So it couldn't have been after Herald's death. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be in an SBS, or maybe when Big Mom shows up, it'll be answered.
For sure.
But I'm excited that we're back in the main story. We're out of flashback.
Right.
So I don't even know how we're gonna really. It can't be all up to Loki to win this. So I'm curious to see where we're going to go from here, because it could literally go anywhere now. At least with the flashback, we kind of had predictions, but yeah, it's just all up in the air now.
For sure. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the next part. It's going to be back in the story, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if the rest of the crew can redeem themselves after being embarrassed by the Gods Knights, but we'll see.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, cool. So please like and subscribe, leave your thoughts below on this chapter and our review, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.
See ya.